Hello everyone and welcome back. This is part 8 of the 1400 scale StarCraft Enterprise B. And what I'm doing now, as you can see from here, is I am working on the top Saucer Aztec Decals. As you can see from the sheet, top Saucer Aztecs. But what I have here, you see that gray line? That gray line forms the boundary between the pearlescent panels, which extend right out to here, and the plain outer rim, which has the navigation lights and the thrusters in it, which has no pearlescent at all. So what I'm going to do is kind of dry fit the decals here and see exactly how I have to trim them so that only the gray line exists. Number three. Okay, so the number 1 is in the center. So this is how the decal would fit if I put the entire thing in place, right? But you can see how that gray line, it's probably right in front of the windows on the central trench here. And then there's even some space right in between. So it looks like if I cut right along, well, got to get the scissors right. If I cut right along there, that should be just enough. This panel will be saved for the top, just in case. Oh, I think I'm going to just do the edge for now. All right, so I'm going to be back with that. Cut out the sections. And I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Thanks for waiting. As you can see, I've got all the parts outlined. Kept the other parts numbered in case I decide to use them in the future. I realize belatedly, don't use black Sharpie to color the parts on the back. Pen is clearly sufficient. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the central piece on here, and we'll just see how this works. I'm just going to arrange things a bit better so that I can see it, and hopefully you can still see it. There we go. Oh yeah, you'll be able to see it. Just shift the camera a little bit. There you go. There you go. Okay. Here we are. Actually, I'm going to move it a little closer. Just 1 second here. How's that? Oh, there, that's better. I think I can get a lot better view that way. All right, here we go. So let's make sure the decal's loose. Oh, it is. All along. Center section only, so right up to here. Release and pull. There we go. There we are. The reason I wanted to do this is because I wanted to have a some semblance of the pearlescent color left, but I also wanted to have the other Aztec decals on the top of the saucer. And when I realized that the outer ring didn't have any segments, so it could be pearled, I decided I would just use that section. All right, so that is part 1 done in between the 2 thrusters. You can see that on the guide, and you can see that on the ship. It's amazing. It does look quite subtle, but I'm only doing the outer ring because I want to preserve the pearlescent panels, which I hope you can see. One of the good things about bringing the camera closer is I can see exactly what you see. See, there you go. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on the other 4 panel rings, trimming them around the impulse engines as necessary. and I'll be right back to show you that result. See you in a few minutes. All right, I'm back. A little bit of progress here. As you can see, both the front and the other two sides have gotten the pearlescent. And the good thing is there's an engraved line just at this part of the saucer, which is a perfect guide for this this thin gray line, which is in the decal. So that's perfect. And then you can see the decal, you can see the pearlescent. So I'm going to do the other two sections, keeping the braced on the 3 books like so. I'm going to turn it a bit, but not so much that I can't work it. There we go. See? But what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to trim this decal so that it only goes up to about there, right about there. The rest is not going to be used because of those impulse engines. So it should be able to be trimmed just like so. Just like that. And in this section, oh, got to trim it a bit shorter. Okay, it's no problem. Let's try this way. Here we go. Let's try that. Perfect. There we go. See? Actually, you might trim it just a smidge more. So this section, which is that part of number 5, which is still written on it, so that's perfect. So just trim a little bit more off of it. Just a little bit more. There we go. Test it again. All right, you know what? I'm going to have to trim it a bit more here. Let's try that. You got to get it so it's completely flat in that section. Ah, there we go. That'll work. So I'm going to put it on and I'll be back. And with the other section. Oh, and the best way to guide it, you have the one section, so you just cut along that line on the other decal, and then you'll have the exact dimensions needed, and you just save the other section. So I'll be back once they're applied. All right, the decals are out, they're drying, but I want to show you something while we're waiting. If you look, you see how glaring the bottom Saucer Aztecs are, even on the outer rim. But look at these top Saucer Aztecs. Look how much more subtle they are. You see that? Now I know that does give me some pause and say, okay, maybe I should put the top Saucer Aztecs all along the entire top saucer. But the thing is, I said I would keep it in the pearlescent panels, and I'm going to do that. But this is why this model is a test bed for the Enterprise B over here. Because it shows you exactly what you can expect from all this that's going on. It shows you everything that you can expect. Just give me a minute here. I've got to use the water to put down one of these decals that's coming off. So I'll be right back when I've fixed that secondary hull decal and put on the other 2 saucer sections decals. Be right back. Well, it was a good idea in theory, but as you can see, it came up a bit. But that's okay. Once the decal's dry, I will trim it off the side of the secondary hull because there's still blue housing decals that have to go on there. So I'll wait till it's dry, give it a couple days, and work on it then. So I'll put on the other one now. Might as well do that one on camera, and then we'll see if we get the same effect or not. All right, Q-tip for water. Yes, of course. Here we go. There. Always use a toothpick to ease it up into position. Right up against that line there. There's a bit of overlap. There, it's on there. Use the Microsol on both to keep them in place while they dry. Okay, so there we go. That means that all of the top saucer section is complete. There we are. All right. So, put the two little sections in the bag. And I'm going to find number 9 and 10 because they go up on the very top here. And since the saucer is sitting perfectly level, it's the perfect opportunity to put those two in place. So I'm going to get those out and I'll be right back. All right. It's weird how the angle that I see is far different from the camera, but now I know why. All right, so it's not going to be this sheet at all. It is going to be this sheet right here. And you see that 9 and 10? Oh, well, you could if I was holding it better. You see that 9 and 10? That's actually for the top section of the star drive hole, which I wish they could have shown on this top diagram. They could have put 9 there, 10 there, but they didn't. But that's all right. At least I know where they go. I've got them here, as you can see. I'm gonna make sure you can see them. Shift everything, 90-degree rotation. There we go. Shift. There you are. So there's, I don't know which side is which, but I do know which side is which based on the angle. There's the angle for that one, right there. There's the angle for that one, right there. So I'm going to put those two on, and I'll be right back to show you what they look like. And that is pretty well everything I can do before I attach the nacelles to the hull. So I'm going to be right back with those applied, and we'll see if you can see that Aztec decal against the white hull. Thank goodness I told us a white hull. Be right back. Thanks for waiting, I'm back. So here we go. It's hard to see, and decals are having trouble staying down, but the microset will take care of that, I'm sure. But what you can see here is you can see the decal on the ship. Now it's probably hard to see because of the shadow cast by the neck. But as I said, as I found out with the other Excelsior, I wasn't going to do any decaling on the entire ship until after I joined these two parts. So if that's the minor consequence, not being able to see the decal that clearly, I'll take it. And if you look on the other side, there is the left side top secondary hull flare out decal. So that means that all the decals are done as far as I can tell, except for the small detail ones like thrusters and upper saucer ring, registry number. I'm just checking the guide here for a minute. Yeah, 33 and 31. I'm not doing 33 and 31 until the front nacelle decals are dry and I can attach it, because if I take a look, I can see that one of those front decals right now is a little bit over. You have to look from that end, like so. You can see how it's a little bit over. So once it's dry, I do a little trimming, just like I did with these two. And then once everything is trimmed, once everything is dry, I come back in a new year, and that's when I will do the final decaling and assembly. That'll be part 9 of the Excel Enterprise B build. And we'll be all set. And of course, I will check in the new year. I'll check on the bottom of the nacelles in case there's any section that needs doing. Like, that's just the top and the bottom. You got everything done there. But you know, you'll have the nacelle trim decals to do. As you can see there, tail fin decals, nacelle trim decals. What will we have on the other side? You'll have the saucer thruster rings. On the top saucer, you'll have the other tail fins that go on the bottom. You'll have these once the nacelle assembly's attached. You'll have the ring. You'll have the phaser decals, and you'll have the registry number. But not 43, because I painted it. So I'm actually going to color number 43, which is the sensor ring. I'm actually going to color it orange. I'm going to color it orange right now. I'm going to color over the sensor ring there on the guide. I'm going to write on the guide, not used because of paint. 43, not used, painted instead. And that way, and the paint, detail painting should be blue. There we go. There you are. There you go. That's how I mark up the guide. So 43 is not used. So actually you should make that orange in the legend also. There you go. See? So if it's not used, it's orange. If the decal is used, it's pink. If it's painted, it's blue. Now I suppose I should mark 3, 4, 5, 2, and 1 on here as in orange as well. So actually I'm going to be right back with that. There we go. All the decals that I used and didn't use are accounted for on the top saucer. So that's all for part part 7, or is it actually part 8 of the 1400 scale Enterprise B build. Yes, I mean it this time. Too many false goodbyes, but since it's approaching 20 minutes, it seems to be the nice way to end it, because it is going to be the last video for 2020, so it makes sense that this video ends at 20 minutes. And as you can see, I have a lot of decals left in the bag. Didn't have to use the gray or the stripes because I painted them. Lots of decals left in the little bag for use in a new year, 2022. So that's all for now. It's the last video I'm filming in 2021. Sorry. So 20 minutes, 20, forget what I just said. But I'm still going to, so it's going to probably go up to 21 minutes because it's ending 2021. So that's all for now. That's all for the Enterprise B. As you can see, I'm going to have plenty to work on at home in Christmas vacation. I've got the golden paints ready to paint those A Creation model decals for the 537 refit. You can see the 537 refit kits here. Star Trek 1 gets the golden iridescent paint, and the Star Trek 4 gets the Martha Stewart pearl paint. So, that's all for now. That's all for this year. There's a good angle of the Enterprise B and its decals. There's the other side. And see you all in the new year. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.